Know what else you won't see Monique doing? Telling jokes. Monique, if she'd have spent as much time actually writing jokes and writing her Netflix special as she did complaining about not having one, it wouldn't have been trash. It got the worst reviews of any Netflix special in history.
Here's my point. When you got your check in your Netflix special, Monique shut up. She stopped fighting that fight.
Never gave up best YouTuber in the world. Never gave up the best YouTuber in the world.
What part of the game is this?
Girl, really?
Now, are y'all ready to have a conversation about what kind of platform is Club Shay Shay turning into? Is Club Shay Shay the new platform for celebrities to go up to bash other celebrities that they got issues with? Y'all not ready to talk about that yet? All right, so let's talk about Monique and DL Hughley. So Monique went on Club Shay Shay. She mentioned a lot of people who I'm sure will have something to say about that interview, but right now we are talking about DL's response. So she's told a story about DL's radio station or something that happened at his show, and DL is responding. Now, y'all remember the last time when she brought up their contract dispute? It got nasty. So I'm not surprised that DL Hughley has something to say about this. I assume he would be the first person to speak up, just given their history. But let's see what he said. Make sure you like the video and subscribe.
Well, Club Shay Shay is getting messier and messier. It's almost like Wendy Williams didn't go anywhere. She just got a wait set. And so Monique was on. Every time I see Monique these days, she's on doing some greasy ass video with her and her daddy complaining about something or working out. I don't know nobody that work out that much and gain weight unless every crunch you do got Captain in front of it. But apparently she goes on Club Shay Shay and tells the story about how she came on my radio show and I wasn't there at the time. And my co-host Jasmine Sanders played a game that we played all the time with everybody called Would You Rather. She apparently was so offended by that she said she got off. She called me. Monique did, and she said I was very dismissive, like, Monique's a liar. When Monique did call me, I heard her complaints. I listened to her, and I pulled the segment. So if I had been as dismissive as she alleges I was, that segment would have aired. It didn't, because I respected her wishes. She's a liar. It's also befuddles the shit out of me how somebody who as a comedian talks as much shit about everybody else as she does, she has the temerity to be offended about anything as much shit as you say about people. Then she encouraged everybody, allegedly it stems from the fact that I used to always talk shit about her on video after video, and she encouraged her sweet babies to look at the video and find them. Do that. Do exactly what she says. And you know what you're not going to find? You're not going to find any evidence of that because Monique is a fucking liar. She's lying about that. But what you will find is Monique talking shit about some alleged contract dispute we had. Look at the ticket. It says DL Hughley, then Monique. She knows the story. But what she did in response to that, she talked about my dog, my wife. This broad even brought out my daughter's personal trauma. My daughter was and Monique bought that shit out and told the world that I allowed my daughter to be in front of me, the lying motherfucker. She knows she was lying. And it only stopped when everybody from my family checked her. It's interesting. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? You won't ever see her with her family, videos with her children or grandchildren, because nobody fucks with me. How do you have sweet babies when your own babies don't fuck with you? How do you love us for real when there's no evidence of anybody loving you for real, except your daddy, who you apparently have to pay? And FYI, daughters are paid for by daddies, not daddies who get paid by their daughters. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? Telling jokes. Monique, if she'd have spent as much time actually writing jokes and writing her Netflix special as she did complaining about not having one, it wouldn't have been trash. It got the worst reviews of any Netflix special in history, because that's what Monique does. She complains and she has grievances. You never see her being a human being. You never see her being sweet and warm to people, except when she's using it to butter somebody up to get something. There's a reason why everywhere she goes, shit starts. Everywhere she goes. How is it that nobody fucks with you, not even your family? How do you, or I was on the road, get it. I get it every goddamn week. Look at my schedule versus yours. See how much I'm going. And I still manage to have a relationship that I cherish with my children. Can you say the same? You can't. Because all you do is talk about your grievances and who did you wrong. There's a reason you're by yourself. There's a reason you got to pay a man to love you. It's sad. There's an old adage that says you can't buy love. It's a shame, Monique, that you probably always will have to.
Now, apart from DL Hughley talking for about 3 or 4 minutes, he actually said this in his caption on Instagram. The reason lies and false narratives continue to go on and circulate is because they go unchecked. What you're not going to do is call me out of my name and not get checked. Monique is a liar. She is constantly throwing the rock and hiding the hand. You don't get to tear people down and then soften the blow by calling them brother, sister, sweet baby. That's not love. Far from it. I'm sure Ike thought he loved Tina too. Apologize, question mark, question mark. I will never forgive or forget the way you tried to manipulate my daughter's trauma to fit your sick narrative. I don't play when it comes to mine because I love my family for real. And they actually love me back. Hashtag Team DL. Hashtagging your own team is kind of crazy, all right? Now, you see the first comment on his Instagram is a hurt dog will bark. Now, this is kind of how I feel about this situation. It gives me flashbacks of the Cat Williams situation when he went to Club Shay Shay. But I will say this. I think they both had some good points. Obviously, Monique is a woman who feels like she was treated a certain way in the industry and also a certain way by her male counterparts in comedy. I think that's important to say. But I thought it was interesting that DL kind of proved her right by fat shaming her, by mentioning her weight. That's something she also talked about in the Shannon Sharpe interview. But on the other hand, I don't blame DL for saying I will never forgive or forget, because I never agreed with some of the stuff she said about DL's family when they had their back and forth. And if you was paying attention to Monique back then, see, a lot of y'all, that's the thing about these Shannon Sharpe interviews. Some of those stories that Cat Williams told, people knew about, but he never got to say them on a platform like Club Shay Shay. And that's the same thing here. A lot of people won't know the backstory between Monique and DL Hughley, so you might just strictly side with Monique and watch the interview and you might be swayed by that. But if you go back, like DL said, you will see Monique said a lot of nasty things about anybody who didn't support her when she was trying to get this Netflix special. And I just didn't like what she said about DL's daughter. It was very nasty. And she had to apologize for a lot of the stuff she was saying. Her and her daddy, aka her husband, they were going live every day and sounding crazy. A lot of that stuff is still on my channel if you want to check it out. But yeah, she had to apologize to a lot of individuals she was just talking mess about for no reason. I think she was upset because nobody came to her back. And she thought people were supposed to agree with her when she said, I deserve to get the same type of money as Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock when it comes to, you know, her Netflix special, and they didn't offer her a certain amount of money. Also, I did understand when she was talking about Taraji P. Henson, who I think will have something to say about this, but maybe not. But I know Tiffany Haddish is cooking up something right now, trust me. But when Monique said, hey, I said this to Taraji back in the day, Taraji was like, sit tight and, you know, it is what it is, that's all cool when you're trying to fight for, you know, females getting their fair pay. And I guess Monique was like, hey, I've been talking about this, but nobody wanted to back me. But here's my point. When you got your check and your Netflix special, Monique shut up. She stopped fighting that fight. See, that's the part. If you was paying attention back then, you would have to say, never, you right. when she got her check and she got her Netflix special, we didn't hear anything from her until today on Club Shay Shay. It was almost like you was stirring up all of this stuff and saying black women deserve this and, you know, this is how we getting treated in the industry, but it's almost like it was self-serving. You were just saying it to get your money, which is how I felt about this Cassie situation too. And I see a lot of these situations where women bring up the female trauma and all females are dealing with this, like we all in the same boat. And then I always sit and I watch. I say, okay, when you get your check from Diddy, are you going to continue to fight? Because that's what you said. It's not about me saying like this, whatever. That's what these people do. They say, Cassie wrote a statement and said she's doing this for all the other women who went through similar stuff that she went through. Are you going to use some of that Diddy money to help those women? Because I'm not saying you're supposed to do it. I'm just saying when you bring it up, like you can just go file your lawsuit without trying to bring up everybody's trauma. You can just stick to your own trauma. And that's my point here. All right, Monique, you said you was doing this for all women. Why when you got your Netflix check, it was crickets. And I don't blame her. Business is business. Maybe a part of her contract was, all right, Monique, once we give you this check, you got to shut up. And I think she chuck and jived like a lot of people. But then to turn around and act like, you know, that's not what you did. I thought that was very interesting. And I would have loved to have heard Shannon ask her about that. But when it just comes to DL and Monique, look, she know what she said. And yeah, I'm not mad if DL hates Monique for the rest of his life. He has a right to. I know some people will talk about DL and his family and some of the stuff he has going on in his personal life. Some people might Google his wife and his child and a mistress or something like that. I know about it. I know about a lot of stuff, but that's not important right now. What's important is Monique knows what she did to DL, and she can't be surprised if that man don't like her. All right. And I'm not necessarily mad at him just using this situation just to get off a little more smoke. I'm being honest with you. And I don't look at it as a black man attacking just a random woman or a black woman. Monique know what she said. And what DL said is exactly what she did. All right. So, you know, when you bring people kids in, some of y'all, if y'all watching me, if somebody says something about your kid, y'all know it's smoke for life. It's smoke for life. That's how we get down. We live in a country where it's eye for an eye. Don't forget that. If you do something to our country, y'all ready to do something to their country. Y'all don't care if it's women, children around. Oh, okay. Everything is off the table. Okay. So let's just remember who we are as a society and just leave it at that. Make sure you like the video and subscribe. I will see y'all next time. Peace.